Apex has officially been out for 6 years, and in those 6 years, its art style has completely changed. From that of a Titanfall sequel, to a game that's reworking old Legend models to be cleaner and adding guns with tentacles. And it all starts, of course, at Titanfall 1, as Titanfall 1 is Apex's big brother. And because of that, Apex actually borrowed some old pilot concepts from Titanfall 1 to be used in Apex. A famous example of this is Bloodhound. Bloodhound was originally designed to be a pilot in Titanfall 1, and had their concept art revealed all the way back in 2013. But this model was never added to Titanfall 1 or Titanfall 2, but it was eventually used in Apex Legends, making Bloodhound the oldest conceived legend in Apex. And you may wonder, why is Bloodhound's concept art not drawn on a piece of paper, but instead a real life model? Well, that's because the lead artist of Titanfall 1 made pilot concept art from kit bashing toys together instead of making a simple 2D drawing. Kit bashing is essentially taking a load of toys or models and essentially Frankensteining them all together to make a new creation. And this was done to make Bloodhound and many of the Titanfall 1 pilots and titans. There was a mini documentary by Game Informer about this, and it's very interesting, and it benefited Titanfall 1 a lot. First of all, this way of creating the pilot models made everything way more grounded, because many of the accessories, armor, and pieces on the pilot are taken from real military toys and action figures. Also, because the pilot and titan concept arts are real life models, they have to abide by real life physics. The models had to be able to stand up on their own and be grounded in reality. They had to be made in real life, which gave Titanfall 1 such a realistic and militaristic style. And in this Game Informer video, it was even revealed by the lead artist at Respawn that the first kit bash model they made was a dive suit, which they scaled up by putting a small figure next to it, which was kind of a light bulb moment for how Titans would work in Titanfall. This method of concepting made Titanfall 1 very gritty, very realistic. Every single pilot had tears in their clothing. All of the maps were very dirty and gritty. They felt like somewhere that was actually lived in. The game wasn't clean, but that was what was cool about it. The war seemed so realistic, and it really did seem like these two military factions, the IMC and militia, were fighting over real resources, and each faction was struggling to keep their army going and make it to the next fight. The grittiness and realism kit bashing brought to Titanfall was brilliant, and it would continue onto Titanfall 2, which still used kit bashes, although it did seem like they did a lot less kit bashing than in Titanfall 1. It did seem like Titanfall 2 did have some kit bashed pilots, but also a lot of the concept art was done on paper and digital drawings. Iconic pilots like the Phase Pilot and Hollow Pilot were still kit bashed. In a Titanfall 2 interview, the lead artist did kind of explain why kit bashing makes the game's art so good by saying, real world objects are never perfect, and you're bound to physical rules. Titanfall walked a very fine line design-wise and is trying to feel honest. And what he essentially said is the imperfections in everything makes the game perfect, and you only get these imperfections from physically creating these models. Of course, Titanfall 2 was a bit less gritty and a bit less grounded than Titanfall 1 with the art style. The pilots were very clean, and also pilot customization came to the game, so you could be a fully bright pink pilot if you really wanted to. But to be fair, if you're a lore nerd, you could kind of write this off as the fact that all of the pilots are mercenaries and working for money. So of course, with their money, they're probably going to spend that money on making themselves look dripped out. Still, despite being a bit cleaner and a bit less realistic than Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2's art style is still regarded very highly and is still very impressive. To this day, the game artistically holds up and is very immersive because of how detailed everything is. After Titanfall 2 finished development, Respawn started work on Titanfall 3, which, as a project, was later turned in to Apex Legends. So, for the brief time Titanfall 3 was in development and it wasn't Apex Legends, were the concepts for the Titanfall 3 pilots kit bashed? Well, it doesn't seem likely, because a lot of the pilots that were made for Titanfall 3 were just transferred to Apex Legends and turned into Legends. For example, Gibby was meant to be a pilot. There's literal proof of this in the Season 1 Apex files, where we can see an icon for the defense class of pilots in Titanfall 3, which were all Gibbies. And also, Wraith was originally going to be a pilot in Titanfall 3, as shown by her pilot helmet, and Bloodhound was obviously going to be a pilot in Titanfall 1, but it was likely that Bloodhound was brought back for Titanfall 3, and then later transferred onto Apex Legends. But for the Wraith and and Gibby pilots, we've never actually seen a kit-bashed model, and it's likely there never was one for them. They were probably just based off a 2D drawn concept art, which seems likely as some of this concept art has been publicly published. Despite seemingly none of the Apex Legends models being concepted through kitbash, it still kind of did have a gritty, grounded Titanfall art style when the game released, albeit to a lesser degree. This was mostly because a lot of the assets in Apex Legends were just straight up taken from Titanfall, like signs around the maps, buildings around the maps, and obviously much more. A lot of the OG Kings Canyon in Apex was built using Titanfall 2 models and Titanfall 2 textures, so naturally it did kind of keep the style of Titanfall a bit. As Apex progressed, so did the art style. Legends and skins changed, the game became clearer, more maps were released with no Titanfall assets used in them, and they slowly removed the imperfections that the method of kit bashing aimed to add to the game. This would become a big and more obvious thing, especially with skins, which influenced the game's art style a lot, as why would people want a dodgy, damaged skin that looks like it's made out of cloth, bones and wood, when you could get one that looks like a super cool spaceship? Slowly the lobbies were changed, the menus were changed, even the legend portraits in the menu changed to become more refined. Eventually, new maps like Olympus and E-District would come out, and if we compare E-District to Angel City, which are two city maps from the same franchise, it's clear that Titanfall was a lot more grounded and gritty. When you walk around Angel City in Titanfall, it seems lived in. It seems dirty but believable. It seems like a real place you could walk around in. But when you go onto E-District, despite being a map that's supposedly ravaged by riots and blackouts, it's very clean. There's not even a spot on the floor. Every single house looks perfect. Every single store looks perfect. The whole place is very clean. It doesn't feel like a real place. It feels like a toy box. Now, I am aware the size of Angel City is very small compared to the size of E-District. So obviously Angel City can afford to put a lot more assets, a lot more detail, and a lot more grime in the map. But still, modern Apex feels very refined and very clean, and like it is deliberately moving away from the dirty and grounded Titanfall art style. Apex moving away from the Titanfall art style has become increasingly clear in recent seasons as well. For example, in Season 23, Caustic actually got his base model reworked a little, and Respawn cleaned him up. Caustic was a Season 0 legend, his model was made not long after Respawn completed Titanfall 2, and kinda did carry some Titanfall influence onto his skin. So Respawn decided to remove the grit and grime off him. They removed stains from his apron, they removed rips in his clothes, they made him a lot brighter, and it seems the reworking of legend models is only going to continue just to make them a bit cleaner, because all of the new legends that release are very clean, very refined. Despite having a tragic backstory, they do not have one spot of dust on them. So naturally, Respawn want to catch up the old legends to the 2025 Apex art style. So is it a bad thing that Apex is moving away from the Titanfall art style? Well, honestly, it's up to you and how much you care about Respawn respecting Titanfall. It's clear that Respawn are doing this to make the game a lot more flashy and a lot more attractive, and it's very similar to what Fortnite has been doing lately, where they're making their game less cartoony and just more bright, clean and refined. Clearly, if you want to have a very big and popular game, you do have to appeal to the masses, and it's no secret that the masses like clean things. People don't like looking at dirty, ugly things. This is likely the same reason Respawn decided to stop kit bashing their concept art, because they don't want the imperfections, and also kit bashing is expensive. You can't really outsource kit bashing to another company like Respawn do with their current Apex Legends concept art. If you're not aware, a lot of the skin concept art in Apex is made by a company that's not Respawn. If you go onto ArtStation and search Apex concept art, you'll see that several different companies are making concept art for the skins for Apex. So this is definitely a lot cheaper and a lot more accessible than having one guy sit in his office making these day in and day out. You can blame the change of art style on many things. For example, optimization, making the game attractive to more people, but still it doesn't change the fact that Respawn are moving away from the Titanfall art style, and it does make me worried. Not for Apex Legends, but future Titanfall games. I hope if the Titanfall game that's currently in development finishes development, it doesn't really have an Apex art style, but instead a traditional, gritty, realistic Titanfall art style. But a lot of the stuff around Apex's art style is a matter of opinion, so put your opinions down below. And also, while you're down there, subscribe.